Oh man, if it were a spider, it would have bit me. Well, anyways, that's just kind of how I see it. Don't ask. I don't know where that came from. I'm just going off improv. Anyways, I got another Spyderco for you guys today. And it's the Spyderco Nightstick. So let's talk blades, everybody. That's what we're into. Spyderco. Oh, Spyderco. I wanted to purchase this knife a long time ago when it first came out, but I didn't like the price tag. Price tag being a little bit over, I think it was close to 400 bucks when I saw it for retail. Now it's saying that the retail price was around about like 330 to 350. Now it's less than that. It's actually 210. So I wanted to pick one up. Got this through a trade of a buddy of mine who was willing to let go of it. So he said he doesn't like it. He wanted it to be a little bit bigger. But what it's actually designed for, it's actually designed to be a little bit more sought after a boot knife. So here it is. Here's the box. I'm trying to keep it all in frame. Nightstick, G10, made in Taiwan. Now the box isn't too impressive. You get your standard. There's nothing else in the box. I don't think there's any tactical silica in there for you to throw in the face of your enemies. But that's it. No paperwork, which I thought was really strange. That's how, this was packaged. No paperwork. The blade comes in this sleeve right here. And you get this, the knife in there. And another separate piece of plastic for the sheath. So just showing you guys what comes in the box before I toss it, because there's really nothing too impressive about it, but just so you guys can see it. You got the warranty information and stuff that you need on the back, just in case you're curious about where that stuff is. And of course you got the other trademark stuff. It's just an oversized Spyderco box. There's really nothing too exciting about that. But here's the actual knife. Really, really cool stuff. I really do like the design of this thing. It's very sleek looking. It's very nice, and it's what triggered me to want to go after it in the first place. I'm not a huge fan of too many of Spyderco's fixed blades, more or less. They're folders, obviously. Today I'm carrying the Matriarch 2. And the reason why is because I just think it's freaking wicked. It's an awesome knife, and you can still do a lot for it. I mean, yeah, you have to. It's designed for self-defense, but it's still a wicked awesome blade to be carrying around. You can do light cutting with it as long as you're not trying to bear down with it like a normal knife. But if that's the case, then why don't you just carry a normal knife? Anyway, here is the nightstick. This is what this video is about. But Spyderco makes freaking awesome stuff. So. Got G10 handle scales on this thing. It's very thin. This is something that you can drop in your boot, or you can simply just put it on a molly, throw it on a backpack, throw it on your belt. It's got that extra closure in there, so that way when it clicks in, it stays in. You got the 2 retaining screws, so you can mount the knife however way you want to carry it. You got a little drain hole right here, which I thought was kind of strange why you would want to put a drain hole there. I would probably link a hole through the actual sheath here, so that way it has a better way of draining. Because right here, it's still going to have a pocket, could potentially have a pocket of moisture. But that's just my personal opinion. At least it has a drain hole, right? This is, I don't know if it's Kydex. They have a special name for this kind of sheath. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't really exactly Kydex. Feels like Kydex to me. Sounds like Kydex. But who knows? Probably some of you do. A little bit better than me. I know what it is. I just can't remember the name right now, but it does feel like Kydex. So this is a very special knife because it's not your typical double-edged dagger. Nay, it's not double-edged at all. What you have is a single-edged, dagger-shaped boot knife. So, you got the sharp edge. Ooh, I just touched that. You got the sharp edge here, and this edge is the false edge. There's no actual edge on this area, but it is shaped that way. Could you put an edge on there? Yeah, you could. You could. Mind that you have that little Spidey hole right there. That's a little trademark of theirs. One thing that I have to note there is a purpose for this hole. And it's nothing really crazy. It's just to indicate which side is the dull side. I was told that they have this hole here not just because it's their trademark, thing. If most of their knives don't already have, an abundance of their trademark hole, but it's supposed to indicate which side of the knife is the sharp side, which is the side without the hole. So whenever you hold this knife, all you gotta do is feel around for that little hole if you're not looking down at your blade, and you can tell immediately that you're dealing with the dull side facing you as opposed to the sharp side. So that's a really cool indication right there. But it also makes it to where you can legally carry it in other places where double-edged daggers are not so friendly in carry. So that's a great little feature. So it falls into the safe haven of the gray area that we all know and love. So that way you're capable of actually carrying this knife legally. Assuming that, you don't get somebody to pencil push you, regardless of the fact that you're carrying something that looks like it could be illegal. But this does fall within the legal parameters in a lot of places where you're only able to carry the single edge, the double edge. So that's a really awesome thing right there. And another thing is, it was designed, if you can see that, by Gail Bradley. You can see his name right there, that little Texas logo, and it says, Rutherford? I can get that on there. Taichung, Taiwan. Spyderco CPM S30V. I know I need to cut my nails. I apologize. And yeah, it's all laser engraved. Freaking awesome stuff. Now this G10 isn't overly grippy. Actually, it's not grippy at all. They smoothed it out. But you can still feel very, very light texturing on that smoothed area of G10. But it's really nice. It's really, really nice. I could do without the two holes here. I really can. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think that also helps within what somebody said it was balance or weight reduction. I don't know how true that is, but I don't like all my weapons to look like Swiss cheese, depending on how many holes the damn thing's got. But like I said, I am a fan of good knives, and this is one of those ones that is, in my opinion, a good one. So I did have a boot knife a while back. Oh man, I think, and unfortunately, there was a break-in. Few houses back. I had half of my knife stash stolen. I had it in a little, it was a Pelican case. I think it was about 30 or 40 knives, and it was one of the things that was snatched up. Unfortunately, I lost my boot knife in there. There was a few knives that I lost. It wasn't anything too expensive. It was just stuff that I've, got at swap meets or whatever I could pick up wherever I could. But it still was a loss to me because it was very unique blades that I know I'm never going to see again. I've tried my best to try and find them and try to, get knives that resemble them, but it's never the exact ones. So, it was kind of a loss, but you learn from your mistakes. You learn to keep things better locked up and better hidden. But you know what? We all go through that. So this is actually a really cool one. I'm going to go into the specs here in a little bit. I'm just going to give you guys my personal thoughts on this before I get into any of that stuff. Very thin, definitely lightweight. It's kind of flashy to me, in my personal opinion. I don't really see too much of carry with this, simply because of the fact that I don't really see too many, moments in time where I really need to throw a boot knife on. But it is awesome. I wouldn't mind having a boot knife on, if you're trying to, hike up somewhere and you need that extra little dagger piece, or if you're simply just, needing that extra protection. Well, you got something to fall back on, and this is a great little option for that. But boot knives kind of fall into different spectrums, I should say, different categories, where if you get in trouble, you can get in trouble in so many ways, more than one, with a boot knife. So I always try to be wise about what I carry and how I carry it, but this is also great for a collection if you're just trying to collect the knives and you wouldn't mind just keeping them for coolness. Now, that doesn't go without saying that you shouldn't use them. I mean, use them by all means. But this doesn't really seem like the type of knife that I would carry all the time. It's just a really cool looking knife. The aesthetics of this thing are fantastic. The handle is so nice, and I just love the way how even that blade is. And you got that little hole there to indicate the dull side of the blade, so you know which side you're using at all times. It's fantastic. It's a very pretty knife and made out of premium steel. It's grand. It's grand. It's a grand knife. It's a great knife. And of course, being from Spyderco, it's fantastic. So we'll get into the specs. See how much it weighs with and without the sheath, so you guys know what you guys are getting yourselves into if you decide to buy this knife at $210 freaking dollars. But hey, it's better than the original. You're looking at 3.68 ounces, just under 4 ounces, which is great just for the knife itself. But what does it weigh with the sheath? We're going to go and check that out. You're looking at a whopping 5.94, but that's just with the sheath. So the blade itself, you know, that's reasonable in my opinion. We'll get into the length with the sheath and without the sheath for those of you who are really, really curious about that. And it comes in at a smidge over 9 inches, so you're looking at 9 1/8. Ah, man, that is so cool. I love the noise that it makes. And you're looking at an overall 8.5, close to 8.5, 8 3/8. Oh, I need to reposition that. Yeah, 8 3/8. Maybe a little over that. And then you're looking at over 4 inches. So you're looking at a little over 4 1/8 of an inch, but cutting edge of 3, almost 3.75. I think it's listed 3 3/4, 3 7/8, almost damn near 4 inches. So it's a big knife. It's not big, but it's you know, your average kind of size, just without it being a folder. Really pretty. I really, really do think this knife is fantastic looking. It's very attractive and appealing to the eye. When I first saw it, I was like, ooh, what's that? The nightstick. Ooh, what's the price tag? Oh, damn. Maybe not. Maybe not right now. And me liking Spyderco, this is actually my first fixed blade aside from my Tomahawk that I have from Spyderco. So Spyderco is really doing it for me. They're really, really just, I mean, they've always been good. They've always been great at what they do. But I'm just now coming to terms with understanding how awesome they really are. All right, and we'll get into the width of things. So that's pretty thin, 8.5 on the handle, and on the blade, you're looking at a 2.3. Wow. So that's freaking awesome. That's some good stuff. Now, with all things said, this type of knife, a lot of people associate with the blade shape and its appearance of being a self-defense knife, and I do agree with it. But a lot of people, you can give somebody a self-defense knife and they'll use it to, you know, eat and cut steak. I've seen somebody do it. I've seen somebody take a stiletto and eat a steak with it. It's whatever you want to use your knife for is what you want to use your knife for. But design purposes wise, I do lean more on the self-defense side with this type of design. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. It's nice and thin. It is relatively lightweight with the sheath. And the fact that you have the multi-purpose carry, you can change this. And with it being as configured with all the holes in its place, you can change this however way you want to and carry it however way you feel. You can even flip it around and do the same. It's so versatile. I really, really do enjoy that. Now, it's a little bit better than Tops, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of their swivel clip. Only because it just gets a little annoying at times, and I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather do this. This is fantastic, whatever this is, and I really do. I like the fact that they even put a little spider on there that shows that this is all Spyderco. It's not, you know, the sheath's made in a different company and the knife's made at another company. No, it's all made from the same company, and I dig that. I really, really do appreciate that. Now, with that being said, certain people like big boot knives. This is, to me, a big boot knife. The original boot knife I had was probably about that big, and it was pretty small. And I think that was designed to be put in the front of your boot, tied through the laces, I believe. As of this was to drop it probably on the side of the boot, which would make more sense. But you can obviously put it on a belt, and I think that would probably be a little bit more wise to do instead of dropping this in your boot. But this doesn't really look very comfortable to me. But hey, you know what? That's just me. But you can configure this. If I were to carry this, I wouldn't carry it up and down. I would carry it kind of like that to the side. It's just easier for me to get my hand on it and push it out, get to my blade. So I would probably flop this around, if that were me, in my personal opinion. But it's great. It's fantastic. It's really nice, really pretty, and a bit intimidating. I'm sure if you were to pull this out on your would-be attacker, I'm sure he might be just a little bit. You're like, oh, you're prepared. Oh, I'm prepared as well. Anyways, this type of knife is great for collecting, but it's also great for use. Not hard use, obviously, because there's no rivets or anything, no screws on the handle to tighten. So with something laminated like this, I don't even know if laminated is the right term. The last time I saw somebody pry with something like this, which you shouldn't be prying with your knives at all anyways, it broke the handle scales off and the glue, and you could see it was just really bad. So something like this, just be aware that it's going to have its limitations because of how thin it is and because of the construction being that you cannot tighten any screws or customize by taking the handle scales off and cleaning them or, doing any type of work with it. This is fixed the way that it is. So just keep that in mind. No customization you can do to this knife unless you're willing to destroy these metal rings here that are keeping this handle scale in place, along with whatever epoxy or glue that's being used to keep this all sandwiched in one piece. But it's still really nice nonetheless. You could probably put a lanyard through there, through here, just whatever you want to do through these holes, whatever, Spidey holes for all of us, right? It feels really good in the hand. There's no real way to say that I don't like the grip on this. I've tried to bear down with it, and I haven't found any uncomfortable. It's great all around. So this is a fantastic knife. Price tag wise, they did better. Like I said, when it first came out, it was real stupidly expensive. And I think a lot of people can agree when they saw that price tag, they were like, yeah, I think I'm good. Blade HQ still has them. I think Amazon might. I'm not entirely sure, but I know Blade HQ still does. I think that's where I kind of looked up the information for the knife. But it's a fantastic piece. It really is. If you're a fan of boot knives, or if you're a fan of something that's a little bit of a modern twist to a boot knife, this might be for you. But if you're not a fan of this, well, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You don't suck. We all have different tastes. Some of these type of knives might appeal to some, not everybody. But this is a very attractive piece to me. Then again, I'm just all for those kind of knives. Spear point is just kind of one of those really cool looking knives anyways. So you see them in movies and TV shows, and unfortunately you just see the bad guy using them, but I like to see that change, something with a Deadpool kind of thing look on it might make it have a better appearance. Anyways, go ahead and slash that like button, stab that subscribe, slice that bell icon so you guys are notified anytime I post new stuff. And in these craziest of times, everybody, please be kind, be safe, carry responsibly, and I'll see you all very awesome people in the next video. God, I can't even speak. What the hell?